Hello everyone, it's Kavita from Red Door Yoga. Thank you for joining me online again for the Red Door Yoga Mini Sutra series. Today I wanted to talk to you about the stories that you tell. So all of us have stories, and I don't mean the bedtime stories part of thing. I mean the stories we tell about ourselves and about our bringing and about our life experiences in the world around us. We have stories that we make up in our heads, and then we carry them along with us, and we tell them to others. We tell them over and over to others, and we tell them to ourselves. And it's important for us to start to see those stories for what they are, stories. Okay? Now, stories are based on, oftentimes, most of the time, they're based on things that really did happen. If I dropped, and this actually did happen as a child, if I dropped a brick on my big toe, okay, that would have been a painful experience, which it was, okay, but I am not stuck with that experience for an entire lifetime. I can tell you that it happened when I was a child, but there's no pain, emotional or otherwise, attached to that anymore, okay? And I mean, that makes logical sense, doesn't it? But it's amazing how many of our past experiences that we use to create a story, that we use to recreate pain in ourselves over and over and over. We tell stories about abuse we may have suffered. We tell stories about someone who said something mean to us. We sometimes will tell stories to make ourselves feel good too, right? Where we tell stories about when we were awesome in some way, shape, or form, okay? But we tell stories in order to almost give ourselves an emotional shot in the arm, as it were. And sometimes that shot in the arm that we're looking for is a negative shot in the arm, where we tell ourselves these stories to make ourselves feel bad, to make ourselves feel like we never had what we should have had, what others have, that we're somehow lesser. And you might ask yourself, well, why would we tell ourselves those stories? It doesn't sound like a great idea. That doesn't sound like a great story to tell ourselves. Well, how many of us watch horror movies? How many of us watch or listen to true crime stuff, right? It's because on one level, first of all, we find it interesting. We actually find it interesting, and we actually, to a certain extent, enjoy the emotional ride it gives us. Even if that emotional ride is I'm terrified, or I'm angry, feeling righteous, whatever it is, we actually like it. And that's really important to acknowledge to ourselves, that the stories we tell over and over, they're because we like it, even when the stories are stories that make us feel bad. Now, why I'm talking about this is because when we tell our stories over and over, we keep ourselves stuck in those stories. We keep ourselves stuck in the shape of those stories. We corral and we encase our possibilities with our stories. So we actually limit ourselves tremendously with our stories. If you are actually interested in evolving, if you are interested in becoming a better version of yourself, you're going to need to break through your stories. And in order to break through your stories, the first thing is you have to realize you have them. That's really important, to actually catch yourself in the act of telling your stories. And they might be you telling your story to someone else, or telling your story to yourself, internally or otherwise. Can you see all of the times you are telling a story about yourself? You are limiting yourself. If you can catch that, if you can catch the limitations you're placing on yourself by telling that story, now you're in a powerful place, because now you can choose differently. It is important that you let go of your stories, even the really great happy ones, because even those limit us. Again, these things occurred. I dropped a brick on my toe when I was a kid. But it doesn't define me, it doesn't limit me, because I don't feel the need to keep retelling that story over and over and over. In fact, as I tell you guys that story about the brick, on my toe, I have to think to myself, wow, I don't think I actually mentioned that story probably for 3 decades. But it's a story that popped in my head when I was thinking about an example to give you, but it's not one that I tell over and over and over, so it's not one that limits me. It's just something that happened. Let go of your stories. Live presently. Be interested in what's occurring right now. And now, and now, and now. As opposed to then. And you will feel yourself start to grow. I hope this was helpful, everyone. Thank you, as always, for joining me. If you are interested in continuing on, going deeper with self-mastery, please do join me in the Masterful Path Self-Mastery program. To do that, you're going to need to go to themasterfulpath.com. If the doors are currently closed, put your name on the wait list, right? Add your email address to the wait list. Once the doors are opened, I'll send you an email. It will let you know that the doors are open, and the doors will only open for 4 days, and that's so that for the rest of the year I can focus on working with the mentees. Okay, so I'm hoping that you'll be joining me. I'm hoping that you'll be one of them, and I'm very much looking forward to having you. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your day, night, whatever time it is, where you are, when you are. And we'll see you again online very, very soon. Namaste.